Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome to the Sunday edition of the Bronx Muchachos. I'm your host, Mark. We got Dave, we got Danny with us. So it should be a fun show for us, everybody, on Sunday morning. Listen, you guys, everybody knows what we say. Go check us out on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcast, um, all the spots. Go to our link tree, link.tre. Get any of our stuff there. Don't forget, this is on our new YouTube, not our new YouTube channel, but one that we set up a while ago. Go hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're going to be posting a bunch of stuff on there. Sunday podcast will be here. We'll also get ourselves the some little clips along the way, kind of help bring this thing up and moving. And then, of course, SeatGeek. You know the drill, guys. It's the best way to find any and all tickets. Baseball season's in session. Minor league games are coming in now. AAA started. All the other ones are starting as well. Concerts are coming around the corner. You got basketball games. You got hockey games. You got everything. Go to SeatGeek and you use our promo code Bronx Muchachos, all uppercase lettering, and you'll get first discount on your first order. So, boys, say what's up to everybody.
Good morning. Welcome to our first ever edition Coffee with the Muchachos as I'm rocking my Grogu mug. So, good morning, everybody. Welcome. I'm going to be doing this for the rest of the year, so enjoy.
A little cafecito to go with your Monday.
Yeah.
Some Cuban coffee. I wish that's one thing I miss about living in Tampa is the Cuban coffee. My gosh, I would love that. But yeah, good morning, everybody. We're gonna be talking a little bit about baseball and a little bit about everything. So I'm looking forward to it.
You're right. This is as opposed to our normal Thursday shows where we talk mainly Yankees. We might sprinkle in Yankee talk here and there, but we'll give this as a site wide and baseball wide kind of talk. So, with that said, Dave, I know you were all about the Red Sox comeback win yesterday against the Orioles. So why don't you start us off with that?
I was not. It was just a crazy game, man. I thought
I heard you.
No, I was not cheering on. I was rooting for the Orioles to win. Let's get that straight. So yeah, after the depressing loss to the Giants yesterday, for our team, unlike some other people think I root for a different team, that's not the case. I thought the Orioles had the Red Sox dead to rights, honestly. Chris Sale looked absolutely god-awful. It was 7-1 by the fifth inning, and then a couple of errors later and a walk-off home run to boot, and that was the end of it. Red Sox walked the Orioles off 9-8 yesterday at Fenway Park. I still think the Red Sox are going to lose 100 games this year just because they have absolutely no pitching. That's just my opinion on the matter. I know other people might think differently, especially, the other half of my mom's side of the family. But yeah, it's going to be a wild season, man. And, I think the Orioles, they have a really interesting team. You got Adley Rutschman with a 600 batting average right now and an OPS of over 1,000. Granted, that's only 10 at-bats. Gunnar Henderson still 0 for whatever. He's got a 0 batting average, but I think he'll turn it around. And I know we didn't do predictions for as far as like wild card or division winners go, but I'm definitely watching what the Orioles did last year with them almost making the push for the wild card, and I think they definitely stand a chance at least contending for one of those AL wild card spots along with the Mariners. So that's my bold prediction for the AL wild card: Orioles and Mariners. So we'll see what.
That'll be cool. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
My bad. I thought I was tripping for a second.
No.
What you call it? That was painful for the Orioles yesterday, man. Like I felt so bad. You make the error, and then literally the next pitch, or it seems like the next pitch, a 2-run homer, and the game's over. To have a 7-1, to have a 6-run lead, and then to lose it like that, I wouldn't wish that upon any fan base.
That's baseball
terrible.
season.
Yeah, for real. How about the Padres losing a series to the Rockies at home? Like, going into the season, who would have thought that was going to even be a possibility? Like, the Padres coming in with all this hype, the Rockies being who the Rockies are, and then lose it, and then the Padres losing 2 out of 3. They won the last game of the series last night, but man, like that was tough. That's tough for first series. For us, for the Yankees,
Yeah.
is today is a must win? I don't know, but I think today's is a really important game for the Yankees.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, it's just gonna be a wild season, I have a feeling. You know, and then you got the Rays being the Rays, unveiling their wild card appearance banner yesterday.
Poverty.
So it's just like, come on, dude. Out of all the things you can be proud of, you're gonna create a banner for you know, a appearing in a wild card game. Like, come on, bro. Like get real. Get real. To be
Poverty.
like,
Dave, we lost your audio.
It's never a good. It's always a fun time when we have early morning issues.
Show business. You guys
There's no business like show business.
No, the Rays doing that is just like, bro. Okay, we spent $20 million on this team, and we got somewhere, and that's all that is. It's like, yo, like this is the lowest level of mediocrity they could possibly. What's the word I'm looking for? You could showcase. You appeared in a playoff game. Congratulations, you did it, Rays. You did
But
it,
you know,
man.
they're not the only team that would have done something like that. I mean, the Blue Jays could do that. The Mets could do that. You know, like there's a bunch of other teams. It's just funny because people crap on the Rays because of their lack of spending money, and they want to promote that they were they weren't even the number 2 team. They were the number 3 team, or like the 4 team or the 5 team, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like they were, actually, what was it? They were 6 team. Excuse me. They were the number 6 team, not even anything else. Because you got to remember something.
They played Cleveland.
Yeah. So it's just we're crapping on people want to crap on them, but the Blue Jays could do that. The Mets could do that. The list goes on. Seattle can do it as well.
Wait, hold on 1 second though. Seattle hasn't made the playoffs in 20 years, and they didn't put no banner for their first round loss. Well, the Rays have been there consistently over the past 5. Well, no, it's been about a decade now where the Rays have been relevant, and they're putting up banners for wild card appearances. That's terrible. It's terrible. I would never. I'd be so embarrassed as a Rays fan. I'm like, yo, take that down, please. The only banner I want up there is a World Series championship. Maybe because we're Yankees fans and that's how we think. That's how our minds are wired. Like, I would love to get the perspective of a Rays fan and seeing that AL wild card go up and then be like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I don't think so.
Now, I think I don't know how they feel. I don't know how they feel, but I think for them, I think for any promotion is good promotion for them. So, why, you know what I mean? Like, why not? They got I think they need to kind of build up their fan base. So, whatever. I mean, they got a lot. They got tons and tons of issues. They're still trying to find a ball. They're still, as they said, they're in the beginning stage. They're just making it to home plate or the batter's box to make it a stadium after all the false starts that they've had and all the issues and all the problems and all the other things that have gone on with them. Trying to move over to Ybor City. For those who don't know their whole situation, Ybor City is a section of over on the Hillsborough side, which is the Tampa side, where the Rays play in St. Petersburg in Pinellas County, which is just across the bay. So, and
Ybor City is amazing.
Ybor City's a lot of fun. Downtown St. Pete is just as much fun when you go down there. So there's nightlife and young crowds for both sides to give and take. It just comes down to that the people on Tampa, they don't want to travel over to St. Pete. Well, they force it. Well, St. Pete, the Pinellas side will always makes their way over to the Tampa side. So there's got to the way everyone's thinking is there's got to be give and take. There's a lot of other things going on with the stadium too. I mean, I think they want to be over in Tampa, but they're not, and what they really want to do is they want to have the Marlins deal, which is to have it fully funded by said whichever government, whichever county, whichever state. And after the Marlins deal bankrupted Miami-Dade, and that's not a joke.
Exactly.
The mayor of Miami, the mayor of Miami-Dade got fired. They had for like 5 years, there was a halt on all first responders. They couldn't even hire anybody new. There was no promotions, no nothing down there because one of my cousins is a cop down in Miami, and there was just nothing. They couldn't do. You couldn't do anything else. Like they were just so restricted with everything. So,
but at least they got Lone Depot Park.
Yeah, the loan right down there
that everybody goes to.
Oh yeah, of course
during the WBC.
Yeah,
during the big league season, not at all. You may be lucky to have like a 1,000 fans.
It's funny because I was watching one of the games and there's a huge section like the Mets bought out or Mets fans bought out an entire section. They're repping their Mets South shirts down there. Like they went hard for all that and they look good. Like their shirts look good. Like it had a Miami vibe to it. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't. There wasn't like a generic shirt that came up or anything like that. I liked it. It was blue. They got the hot pink going on. Like you felt like it was like South Beach coming to Little Havana. Yeah,
the 7 line. Those are those guys that they travel with the Mets. So that that part of the Mets fandom is pretty cool for them. For little brother to have a little something nice for them. It's about time.
Well, little brother's going through their own injury problems too. I mean, Verlander, the opening day went on the IL, so I mean that's not really something that you wanted to kind of hear about. I mean, Max Scherzer did what he does for them, but he went against Sandy Alcantara. Sandy pitches well too. I mean, I don't see any fall. I don't think Sandy's gonna have any fall off. It's just for the Marlins. They need offense. They need to figure out offense, and they got tons and tons and tons of pitching. Like they figured out whatever's in the sauce. They figured out the formula that the Rays always figured out, which is they can produce pitchers now, and then they got to start taking these pitchers and start getting hitters. Like keep the best of the best, and then get some of those other guys and move them for hitting, and then you try to get younger hitting too with them.
Did you see Luzardo the other day?
He was
dealing.
Yeah, he was shoving.
It was like 98, 99, but it wasn't down. It was corners, paint, 98, 99. So I started dreaming a little bit about Jesus Luzardo. I mean, I'm big on him in fantasy, and I always think he's going to have a good year or a big year and have that kind of breakout. Last year, you could consider maybe was his breakout year, but I hope that he could take that to the next level, fantasy-wise. And maybe the Yankees kind of play in those waters a little bit. But you got to see a little bit more consistency from him. He's still a really young kid. It's probably his third full big league year. So there's definitely room to grow for Jesus Luzardo. But he's got the stuff for it.
He does. And, and I don't know what it is, but I think the Marlins where the Yankees kind of have fallen on hard times making deals with the A's. The Marlins I think they're making some good deals with the A's. They got Luzardo. They also got AJ Puck for that bullpen too. I think. Oh, yeah. I think getting AJ Puck down in South Florida with what they're doing, that'll elevate his game as well. So I think those are a couple smart moves that the Marlins did. And like I said, I mean the Marlins have to draft well. And honestly, to help put fans in the stands for them, this year I think I can't see why they wouldn't go after Yo-Yo Morales from the University of Miami. I mean, you got a homegrown kid, you got a built-in fan base that'll go and travel to see him too. Yeah. So, I mean, you could theoretically say that the guy, go from Coral Gables to Little Havana. I mean, boom, you can, you could just get that traveling team go, the fan base. You got 12, 15,000 from down the U. And then then you could go over to the Marlins Park or Lone Depot Park, it should say, and that all of a sudden now you just double, triple your attendance right there.
Right, just not one player.
Just one player. But that's what I'm saying. Like if you really dive in, I mean, Yuri Gurriel should help out a little bit, bringing the Cuban population over there. Then you got Yo-Yo Morales. Then you got some other young guys from in the Florida range, University of Florida with AJ Puck. Lazardo's from down from Florida as well. I mean, you get a lot of that kind of group there, so you kind of begin to build like the old University of Miami, the football team. Then they used to rope off the state of Miami where they get everybody from there. Now you're talking about trying to get the same type of thing, bring in people from all over the place, up by St. Augustine or Jacksonville, bring them in from Tampa, as like fans that have moved on and moved out, bring them back to watch and to go to games for a weekend or something like that, because you're going to have people that you see and you've seen for a while, and then you have the local guys that go, oh, I've seen him. I watched him in college. I've watched him play for up team times in travel ball and and all the other leagues that are down here. So we've known about this guy. So I think that's one way to kind of, for Marlins, help boost their population for fans in the stands.
You would hope, but Miami's been around. The Marlins has been around for like
30 years,
2 decades now. Yeah, 30 years, and they always run into the same issues. People are not going to games. So hopefully, if you got guys like you're talking about, that put some butts in the seat, because we all want to promote the game of baseball. We want to see we want to see baseball grow and continue to be part of national pastime. Speaking of which, did you see the scene in Cincinnati for opening day?
That was crazy. I love that. 100%. They shut down
that was amazing. Absolutely amazing. It was like 2 blocks. It seemed like it was like diagonal block. I don't know anything about Cincinnati, but they showed up for opening day. I was like, what was the excuse for everybody there at work? Or was it at work like, hey, it's opening day, go. Like, bro, it was absolutely electric. And I was like, to see this in 2023, like, baseball is really still a big time sport in this country. For everything, for all the stuff that people talk about baseball, like, people are still coming out in droves just to watch this game, and I love seeing that. I absolutely love it.
You're 100% right about that, man. It's crazy. And speaking of opening day things, you want to talk about crazy things that happen on opening day? All the way out in California, Hunter Renfroe, no look, throwing his hand up to make that catch was, if anybody hasn't seen that, it's wild. Like, he was completely turned around and just flung his hand out there and caught it. You even had Shohei Ohtani, which everyone sits there and goes, oh, he can do everything. He's over there with his hands up, like, I'm at a loss of words right there.
It was crazy. That, like, I saw like how to even see it. I don't understand it. He got so turned around as an outfielder, and as an outfielder, obviously you want to keep your eye on the ball, and you got to track it. But dude, like, that was kind of crazy. Good for him. Like, catch of the year, day 1.
Really? I mean, you had that. That's your Sports Center top play of the week right there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then for Yankee fans, we're all decked out in Yankee stuff, but Judge, first home run, he not just his first home run, but the first home run in baseball came by him, dead center field. I mean,
that was amazing.
We had one of the guys we know, Chris from the B3 Bronx B3 up in Connecticut. They were he was at the game, and he straight up was like, the whole place was shaking. The whole stadium was shaking when he hit that home run.
That's
so
awesome.
I mean, it's wild times, man. Opening day is always fun. It happens, bro. It happens, and I love every minute of it. But I know Dave. Dave had this nice little comment or little prediction he kind of threw out there yesterday. So I want to throw it back over to Dave. It kind of ties back into what he was talking about with the Orioles Red Sox, but it was mainly about the Orioles. So Dave, why don't you bust out what your take on the Orioles?
Well, I already threw it out there. You disappeared for like 2 minutes, and
I had to go grab something.
Yeah, I just think they stand a chance to contend for the AL wild card with the Mariners this year, for sure.
Well, here's my take.
I think they came last year to making it. So,
well, do you think that they can overtake the Blue Jays? As we're sitting here going, we're all going to assume the Yankees are going to repeat and be the AL East champion, right? I could put a blanket comment out there. You don't think so, Dave? Sorry, Danny. You don't. What's your roundabout after 2 games?
No, it's not.
It's not after 2 games. But I'm saying, we're 2 games into the season. That's all I'm kind of riding with right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. I thought going into the season the Blue Jays would overtake the Yankees just because they have a lot to prove. They're super athletic. They've gotten better. So I think, going into last year, I was prophetic, saying that the Yankees were going to win it. I hope I'm wrong, but I really feel like the Blue Jays, they had a Chris Bassett. They got more athletic with Varsho in left, Kiermaier in center, even though he probably won't even play 100 games. But the 100 games that he does play, it'll be an impact. George Springer moving over to right. You probably expect a better year from Bichette and Vladdy. So that team is stacked. And they're hungry. They have a lot to prove. And they're projected going to the season to lead the American League East in WAR. And that was one of the things that I checked off with the Yankees going into last year. They were talking all this stuff about the Blue Jays. I was like, well, listen, the Yankees got better defensively on the left side, right? And the Blue Jays got a whole lot better defensively in the outfield. So that'll support their pitching. And I just think that the Blue Jays are going to be really tough to beat this year.
So what's your 1 through 5? Go to AL East. What's your 1 through 5 AL East?
Blue Jays, Yankees, Orioles. Oh, no. Blue Jays, Yankees, Rays, Orioles, Red Sox.
All right, Dave?
Yankees, Blue Jays, Orioles, Rays, Red Sox.
Interesting. Okay. I got Yankees,
Blue Jays, Rays. Granted, the Blue Jays, yeah, they're a good team, but we all saw what they did last year. When it came time to show out at the end of the season, they turtled. They straight up turtled, man. And I'm sorry, I just don't see it. They always come into every season as the heavy favorite to do this, that, and the other thing, and then they just fall apart down at the last stretch of the season. So I just don't trust it.
Well, you don't trust until you see it.
I'm not rooting for that. I just think that's what's going to happen.
I think for the Blue Jays, I think it's going to be a lot closer this year. I still don't think they're going to go over the hump. I still think that I think their pitching is still a little suspect, but I think that them faltering a little bit is something that's good for in the long term for that team. Is good for a Bo Bichette and a Vladdy Jr. because that's going to that's going to stoke the fire. That's going to get them hungrier, and then those two are really who lead that team. Those are the guys that push that team further and further and further. And those little failures, but those are learning lessons for them. That's going to make them a better team. And don't forget, you got Matt Chapman on that team, this is his walk year too. So he wants to show out as well to get that payday next year. So, it's not the wide gap that the Yankees had last year for the long time, but I think it's Yankees, Blue Jays, Rays, Orioles, and I think the Red Sox are down in the cellar. The Orioles, I know Dave's thinking they're a playoff team. I like the Orioles. I like them in a couple years because I think you got Grayson Rodriguez coming up, and he's going to be a stud. That kid's going to be a stud in a couple of years. Also, you're going to have Jackson Holliday playing shortstop for them. You're going to have who's that guy? Kester, I think his name is. I get the proper name for him, but he's their top outfield prospect as well. I mean, he's no joke. So I think the Orioles are building for the future. They already got Adley up there. They already got Gunnar up there. So I mean, they got two of their main pieces already in the bigs. Grayson Rodriguez will be coming up this year. They're going to play with him, and they're going to play with his timing, and he'll be up there this year as well. But I do believe that the Orioles will be something a force to be reckoned with. Within the next couple seasons, and that's something everyone's going to have to be worried about in the AL East. Because the minute the Orioles get better, and that's going to be crazy in and of itself.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. I mean,
Heston Kjerstad, that's the guy. That's his name. That's the outfielder's name. I mean, and the amount of left-handed bats that they can throw out there too. Just coming from the minors. Gunnar, Jackson Holliday. You got Kerstad, that's 3 right there. Plus Adley's is a switch hitter. I mean, sky's the limit for those guys. I mean, and they even have Colton Cowster too, who's all in triple. And most of these guys are in triple A. You know, you have them high up there too. Grayson Rodriguez is in triple A. Jackson Holiday's in low A ball, but I'm sure he's going to be bumped to high A ball real soon. Colton Cowster's in triple A. Kerstad's in high A ball. I'm sure he'll go to he's 24, but I mean he's going to be on the fast track to get up there as well. So I mean, there's a lot of things going on for them. So
yeah.
If the Orioles get good, this is a legit 4-team race in the American League East because the Rays are not going away. They always have the pitching. They got Wander Franco. They got Brandon Lau, however you pronounce his name. So Randy Arozarena, you know.
I feel like Randy. I think Arozarena's like I think Arozarena's he's at that peak, but his peak years are short for the Rays. Like I think he's gonna be falling off the cliff a lot very soon. Like he's not part of their long-term future. Like, you know, in Lyle, he didn't have that good of a year. Like it seemed like the Rays did something the Rays don't really do. They made a bad trade. Like they got rid of Lyle's brother and they sent him to Texas, and he's blossoming in Texas. You know, so I mean, they have to build that team around Wander Franco, and they have to hit the right. They have to make the right moves, and they have to hit everything the right way. And it seemed like they kind of missed once or twice. You know what I'm saying? Which is not really something that you say about them, especially in trades. Like you kind of say, oh, they got, you know, look what, you know what I mean? Like look what they got back in the day for Chris Archer. They were stacked with that. They had, you know, Austin Meadows, what the hell?
Glasnow.
Yes, Tyler Glasnow, and then they got Shane Baz, who's been injured, unfortunately. But man, it's crazy what the things that they had going on.
Yeah, I still think they'll find a way to make it to be better than the Orioles. The Orioles just don't have enough starting pitching. The bullpen is nails, even though last night they faltered. They're so good. The Mountain at the back end he's a stud. They got lefties, Cino Perez, DL Hall probably make an appearance too. He's a guy that the Orioles could use at the back end. But I just don't think the starting pitching. When you got Kyle Gibson starting opening day for you, you're not in a good spot pitching wise, and that's just being honest and 100% about that. So, the Orioles are going to be close, but they're not going to. I don't see them being a wild card team this year. Next year might be a different story with a half season of Grayson Rodriguez, and he could be your true ace type guy. Then, 100%.
Yeah, and just think about it this way: you got Gunnar Henderson, and you got Adley Rutschman another year in the bigs, another year of full development. You know, working working on their craft now. The sky's the limit sky really could be the limit if everything hits right for them. So it's something that the AL East in totality has to be worried about, because Blue Jays, we're flipping over the Blue Jays. They have huge, not problems, but they have really big decisions to make, because you got both Bo and Vladdy that are going to be free agents at the same time if they don't give an extension to either one, and they're both going to be going for buku dollars. And I don't think the Blue Jays can afford both of them at that point, unless they both take, you know, big discount, hometown discounts.
If Vladdy puts up another MVP caliber year, he's gonna be asking for $400. $400 million.
No. If he was asking $400, man, I'll give him the $400. But no, you're right.
$400 million for Vladdy, 100%.
Oh yeah, and Bo. Yeah. I mean, just look at the shortstop class. I mean, look 13 for three over 300 for shortstops. So I mean, that's you're looking at $700 million between those two guys, and that's going to be for a lot of years too. So I mean, I hope
neither one of them goes back. Glad to go to the National League. Who would be willing to pay him? I don't know. Go ahead. My bad, Dave. Go ahead.
Padres. Padres will pay him.
Somebody, yeah, exactly.
Somebody that's desperate enough to pay him.
Yeah.
But that's gonna do it for us this morning. Hope you all enjoyed. Like I said, we're gonna be doing 2 shows a week now. going forward. We're going to be on a Thursday and Sunday schedule. But before we go, today on Lids for the rest of the day, it's 65% off site-wide. Use promo code THANKS, and you can access Lids by a nice little code up here in the corner, right there. Volpe jerseys. Go get your free for the 23 season. Also, we have our own merch store. You can catch that on our link tree as well. For everybody listening across the pond and overseas, thank you. Everyone here at home in the U.S., Canada, we thank you as well. So for Mark, Danny, Alex, and Manny, who couldn't be here today, this is David, Bronx Muchachos, signing off. See you on Thursday.
Later, everyone.
Adios.